Hello and welcome to Strike a Pose. Today's pose is called Prasarita Padohattasana, which is a wide-legged forward fold. So we're going to stand in a wide-legged stance here. So the legs are out fairly wide, a little bit past the hips, a little bit past the shoulders, and you can kind of play around with this when you're in the pose because sometimes you might want to go a little bit wider. But the toes are in slightly, the heels are out. So not so much like a ballet second position, but the opposite. So toes are in, heels are out. And as we go through this pose, I'm going to give you some different variations that we do in classes. So our basic Prasarita A, we call it, we just start with the hands on the hips. And then you just begin to hinge forward all the way down, bringing the hands down to the earth. Now, if you're real tight and you can't get down to the earth, you can always use a yoga block here to help you. But you're releasing the head and ultimately releasing the hands down to the earth. Now, some things to think about. This pose works the entire back of the hamstring. You're working the calf, you're working the glute, you're strengthening the ankles, strengthening the feet. So you want the weight to be on the inner part of your feet. So not rolling out on the pinky edge, but rather roll them in, and you're going to feel this inner thigh fire up. So the hands come down, you drop the head, and then we stay here for several breaths coming into this pose. Now, different variations. If you're a little more flexible, you can always walk the feet out. A lot of times this is a pose where people like to go into a headstand. Perfectly fine. You can just keep the hands here, or if you're a little more flexible, you can walk the hands back behind you, even turn the hands the opposite direction. Lots of options here, but if you have your hands behind you, it just kind of allows you to get a little bit deeper into the pose. So you're going to feel the inner thighs, you're going to feel the hamstrings big time, and just settling in. Now, lots and lots of variations that we do in class, so just if you want to just look at the video for a second just to see what other things we can do. I'm going to come back up, hinging back up from the hips. Now, because this is a semi-inversion, you might feel a little lightheaded, so you can always bring your hands above your head just to kind of get situated. But another version of the pose is to interlace the hands behind the back. Draw the knuckles down towards the hips so you're pulling the shoulder blades together. And then same thing, you're hinging forward. Legs are not doing anything different. You're hinging forward. And then you're bringing the arms over the shoulders here. And again, option as to how far you want to take this, but this is a nice shoulder stretch. And just, we usually take several breaths here, just settling in to this pose. I'm going to release my hands and just show you other variations that you can do in Prasarita, because there are many. You can do an ankle stretch if you want to take left hand over to the right ankle. You can take a side twist with this if you want to take the arm up high. Just remember that whatever you do on one side, make sure you do on the other to maintain balance and integrity in the body. So just opposite hand to ankle, option to twist that arm up, take the gaze up. You can simply place one hand in the center, pressing up, lengthening the spine, taking a twist this way, so taking the right arm up high. You can even just take a bind here if you want to take that hand behind the back. So there are lots of different things you can do in Prasarita. And again, just making sure you do the same thing on either side. So you can add side twists. So you can open the shoulders, or you don't have to. You can just stay in that basic Prasarita A, or like I said, sometimes people like to use this as as sort of a prep pose to get into a headstand, which we're not going to do right now, but just getting the basics down for your Prasarita or your wide-legged forward fold. And then just anytime you're in any kind of an inversion, just making sure you come out of it slowly and safely. So that is your Prasarita. Enjoy.